Alright, who's ready to build? I know I am. I'm ready to build something. Welcome back, everybody, to JeffandAdamBuildaZenith. I'm Adam, and I'll be your builder today. And today, well, I'm going to get back into some of the stuff in the cabin section because I'm waiting on parts for the engine, for the rest of the firewall forward stuff. Oh yeah, so in case I didn't say already, so the thing about the engine is that what ended up happening is we didn't buy the Zenith firewall forward kit, which would include, well, basically everything. So the engine, the mount, the cowling, the doodads, everything, the oil cooler, all this other stuff. And we didn't realize that for some reason. Or maybe I did. I can't remember if I said this already. Stop me if I already said this. But anyway, so I got that stuff straightened out with Roger. So we just ordered that. So that should be coming. And we'll have all of this stuff put on there. And it's just going to be great. And that's almost almost all the rest of the stuff that we need. Actually, the next thing that we're going to need, that we're looking into, is what kind of panel setup we want. And this right here, just in case you're not familiar, this is kind of where the panel is going to be. It'd be like a little bit lower, but pretty much right about here. And this is the shape of the panel. And actually, what we're looking at are the advanced panel, the Dynon advanced panel thing, which is like basically like a pre-made panel, which seems super exciting and awesome to not have to wire all that stuff. So that's one of the things we're looking into. But anyway, well, I'm getting back into this. And I gotta admit, it's been a little bit tricky trying to figure out where I was and just kind of get back into the swing of things with all the sheet metal stuff. Right here we've got our torque tube, and this is for the flaperon controls. And then our stick is going to attach right here, and that's going to be for the elevator as well. One of the things I've been working on is this forward bearing here. But first, just to kind of warm up and get back into things, I'm going to do some quick and simple and fun riveting, because we've got this we've got these what do you call these, well, it's basically the armrest is what this is. And this goes right here, basically. It sits down in there, but it basically goes along this side right here, and it's got this reinforced area for the seat belt. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to warm up a little bit and do some riveting on this seat belt thing and get this in here, because that's the funnest part. The riveting, that's so fun. It's everything leading up to the riveting. That's the real work. And then and then I'll work on this stuff. I think we're going to get the pedals in there and get some things, hooked up and going, because what I really want to do is get this thing kind of closed up. I've left it open so that I have room to work on things, but I want to start to get it closed up, get those seats in there, and so then, as soon as I get the engine hooked up and all the controls and stuff, we can start, testing it out and get that engine tested as soon as possible, because I knew that with the engine, there's all kinds of little things going on, and it's a lot to hook up, so I really wanted to make sure, try and get started on that as soon as possible, so that if something comes up, like something breaks or something isn't right, we'll have kind of some extra time to fix anything. Anyway, so let's do this. This video probably won't be very exciting, but I'm gonna bring you along anyway. So if you want to leave, you better leave now. Last chance. Now I don't want to rivet any of these that are in this red line, because that's going to go along the seat pan thing. So I'm just going to fill them with Cleco so that I can't possibly rivet them accidentally. Alright, that should be good. And I'm going to rivet them from, let's see, I'm going to rivet them from this side with the heads on this side, because the seat is going to be right here. Where are the rivets? Oh man, it's been so long since I've done some riveting. No, that's oh, that doesn't go into anything. Okay. There we go. Right, there we go. See, look at that. See, sometimes you gotta save those small jobs just to get started when you're getting started working on it for the day, because at least then you can just, you know, right away be like, well, I did something, and then usually you will get inspired to do even more stuff. Oh yeah, we also got some inspirational artwork here on the walls. Well, that's a refrigerator, but got that photo, which is nice. So that way we can kind of see, like, yeah, we actually are building an airplane, and it's actually like gonna go in the sky. Got this, I like this one. This is nice, and you can actually kind of use it for reference. Kind of gives you a visual of, you know, kind of how things are gonna end up, which is great. And then we got these ones again, just kind of a cool reference, kind of showing, you know, all the different parts, and it's neat. And when we have people out in the garage, we're kind of showing them the plane and stuff, they can see this and be like, oh yeah, I get it. Back to this torque tube here. So we're working on this front torque tube bearing, and what I'm trying to do is center this bearing thing, or make the bearing so that the torque tube is centered in the hole. Yikes. Okay. So I've got these little clamps that I'm using to clamp the these extrusions to the bearing bracket thing. So what I'm gonna do, let's see, I'm just gonna try and raise it up. I mean, it's you know, centered, but the most important thing is that it's not touching any of the sides. Alright, and clamp this down. Clamping down, alright. Alright, that's pretty good. I'm going to push down a little bit.
Try and get the right height. Okay. I think that's pretty good. That seems pretty good. Where's my let's make sure we have some good clearance. Yeah, we got some pretty good clearance. Seems like you could also just make the hole a little bit wider, and that would be a little bit better, maybe. Speaking of making the holes wider, I'm going to need to make these holes wider. I'm going to need to drill these out because these are what the control cables run through. You can kind of maybe see that. These two holes, this hole there and that hole there. I think. Getting some good close-up views here. It's hard to tell where the camera's pointed. Alright, so this, as it is right here, should work very well. Now, let's see. Now let's just center this left to right on the sides, and we should get the holes lined up for how we want them. Now, let me get a Sharpay. I'll get a narrow one, actually. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark, oh gosh, I keep bumping you, sorry. I'm going to mark the top hole. I'll go ahead and mark like a middle hole, and then the bottom hole. The top hole, middle, and bottom. And then I'm going to mark, let's see, well, just for reference, I'm going to mark on the bottom here and the top where this bracket goes on here, just in case it comes loose. I can get the height and everything back just like how it was. Okay, and you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and mark that this extrusion, oh gosh, it's hard to work with this bar right here. I'm gonna mark that this extrusion is left side. I'm gonna write left hand, and on here I'm going to write right hand, or RH. Okay, and I'm also going to put an arrow for up. Okay, and the arrow goes up. All right. Cool. Wait. Oh, how was I gonna do that? Oh yeah. Okay, now I remember, because I couldn't remember exactly how I was gonna do it, and then John did it a certain way and stuff, and it can be confusing. The main thing here is I want to make sure that the bolts that I use to hold the bracket to these extrusions don't get in the way of the rivets. That's all. That's pretty much all there is to it. So what I'm going to do actually is slide this torque tube out. Just going to slide it back there for a little bit. So just, oh gosh, ow, it's a little dicey. There we go. We'll just support it right there. So then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, let's see here, to get reference holes for these top parts where the rivets might come in contact. I'm just going to line this guy up right here and just make little marks and say, you know, it's there, there, and there. And I'm just going to put the bolts where there is not a rivet. Simple as that. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And then I can mark my bolts. And my bolts doesn't really matter much because I have plenty of space. So I'm probably going to put actually I'll just go ahead and put a bolt-ish. And right about there. Yeah, that's pretty well centered. Again, on this other side, my little clamp is kind of in the way. But I'm going to put a bolt right here, centering it so it's centered in the extrusion right there, and I'm going to put one right, let's say right there underneath this little point. There we go. Now
Yeah, I'm going to clamp this again to make sure it stays really clamped like this. And then I'm going to drill pilot holes for the bolts, so then I can make sure I get this as one unit. And then, or yeah, make sure that these are all where they're supposed to be. Does that make sense? Yes, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a center line, and I probably should have just marked all the rivet holes, huh? Yeah, I guess that's kind of a problem. A little bit of a problem. Not too much of a problem. We'll see here. We'll see. See, this is why this stuff gets kind of confusing, because you've got like 3 different things that you have to match up with 3 other things, and everything's got to, you know, work in the right order and place and all this stuff. So let's see. So just to recap here, I'm going to put this up against, right? Why isn't that straight? Wait. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh. Yeah, that's kind of a little odd. Okay. And then right there. You know what? I'm just gonna mark before I go changing a bunch of stuff. No, wait. Nah. Nah. Let me do this. Let me get some clamps, some good clamps. I told you this was gonna be boring. Let's get these guys on here. Make sure this doesn't go anywhere, and then I'll drill out some pilot holes. Now let me do it like this. There we go. Okay, and let's see. It doesn't really matter that this isn't bolted, the little plates, because that doesn't really have to do with the bracket. So I'll just leave them be for now. But I'm going to drill this out somehow. I'll figure out a way. Yeah. Alright, we're going to get our handy dandy Cobalt drill. Not a sponsor. And we're going to get a little pilot hole bit. A nice sharp one, I like it. And there we go. And of course, gonna get a little bit of bow lube. If it's good enough for Boeing, it's good enough for me. That's what I like to say. Alright. And we are just going to... Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, now what we're going to do is we are going to get another clamp. This is why you have like 5 billion clamps. Because we're going to get another clamp, clamp this thing down. I don't know why there's a football there. And clamp it right here. Okay. Alright. Let's get these off of there. Didn't use those. Ha! Oh gosh, that was... Alright, note to self. Don't put duct tape on the clamp thingies. That's annoying. Okay. Alright, we'll make it stick really good though. Alright, I'll just go ahead and clamp this down like so. and we'll still be able to get that drill on there just fine. So now we're clamped down. Okay, here we go. Oh, wait. That's going to start slipping all over the place. See, I told you it's been a long time since I really worked on this sheet metal stuff. It's been too long. And wouldn't you know it, somehow it seems like you always end up in the darkest part of the shop whenever you're trying to work on something. Somehow you just always end up on like the dark side or the side that doesn't have air conditioning or whatever. Alright, here we go. Alright. Now we take a handy dandy little silver Cleco and little Cleco pliers, and we're going to put a Cleco in there. Shaboom! Alright, now we have a mechanical connection, so I don't need this clamp anymore. Thank you, clamp. You did a good job. Alright. So we'll just... Oh, yep, that's sticky. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's sticky. Alright. Let's go over here. Do the same thing, but opposite. Clamp that down. Hopefully, hopefully nothing has moved. Make our mark with our center punch. It's going to give us that little dimple. Which our drill bit can grab onto. Did I really put the bow lube all the way over there? Alright, yes I did. More bow lube. The bow lube I think really helps, especially if you're drilling something like steel, but it just helps all around. Alright, now we'll size these holes up to 3/16. And again, this is why certain simple tasks, or seemingly simple tasks, take so long, because you have to size up, and you can't just, drill out a 3/16 inch hole right away. You've got to drill the pilot hole and then a few sizes in between. Go. Tell you what I should do is I should let's see, yeah, now we're going to put a copper Cleco in there and pull this one out, do a copper Cleco, and we will do a copper Cleco over here as well. Gosh. Take that off now. Done with those. Now let's... Okay. Let's do this side. Going up to a number 20. Yeah, I'll better stabilize it with a black one.
jump to 3/16. For 3/16 inch Clecos, we need 4. Ooh, there, a little bit too fast. Alrighty, that wasn't so bad. So now that we have all of these in place, I guess I'll Cleco this. Alright, let's do another test fit of this part. So we want this to be like that. And this is going to slide through like this. Yeah, that's pretty nice fit in terms of the tolerances there. I did have to file this down a lot, just FYI. I did have to kind of make them all match and kind of smooth it out and stuff. And also, we did powder coat this, and I think the powder coating is like just kind of thick. So I think that was another reason why I had to do that. And I filed down the burrs. I filed down the burrs on these holes right here. Oh, hey, Dad.
Hello.
And but it fits good now. So and it seems to be it's good top and bottom clearance. But what I need to do is make sure that it has good side-to-side clearance when I make these holes. Now, what I could possibly do, I could clamp them in place and then match drill them. But I couldn't really match drill them because I can't like get to those bottom holes. But what I will do is clamp it in place and then mark the holes. That's what I'll do. Alright, so these holes are definitely going to end up being A5 rivets, but they're A4 size right now. So but I'm just going to go ahead and try back drilling some of these and getting them to match up through these pre-drilled holes. I'm not going to be able to get to all the holes, but if we can at least get to a few, that might be good. So let's just give it a try here. I'm going to start near where it's clamped. Actually, yeah, I gotta watch out for the Clecos though. Oh my, okay, kind of grabbed it there. Okay, yeah, that worked out okay, I guess. Let's get some Clecos in there. Yeah, gotta clean up all this stuff too. Get my Cleco pliers. Let's see. Alright, let's Cleco that. Yeah, good. Now we're Clecoed to the thing. We'll draw out some more. My headphones is kind of loud for that echo. Alright, pretty much the rest of this video is just going to be me drilling out these holes and then sizing up the holes. And then eventually putting it all together.
Oh boy.
Oh. Yeah, this is why this stuff gets so old. Because you just do this and just so much drilling and sizing up and matching, and it just feels like it takes so long. It just seems like it takes so long on just one thing, and it's just oh man. That got kind of messed up. Shoot. Alright. There's some shavings or something in between there. So I gotta undo the whole thing. Yeah. Get those out of there. Alright, I think that's a good place to stop for today. It's getting a little late, getting a little tired and unfocused, so I am going to make a mental note of what I need to do tomorrow, which is finish, well, I need to drill out, let's see, how am I going to do, how am I even going to get to that bottom one ever? I don't know, I'll have to figure something out. I'm going to have to drill those out to A5 eventually. And then I'll need to drill these out to A5 as well. I might match drill them and I might not. But anyway, the next step here is going to be probably removing this and then drilling out that bottom one to A5, or possibly just drilling them, match drilling them to A5. Gonna remove it, take it all apart, deburr all the holes, and then bolt the bracket part, the bearing part together, and then bolt it to these extrusions, and then rivet this thing on. Or maybe rivet this thing on, maybe I'll rivet the extrusions and then bolt, that's probably a better idea, and then bolt this on, because then just in case there's a little bit of space, the bolts will kind of bring everything together. Otherwise it might be really hard to get the rivets to all fit. Anyway, okay, those are things to think about. Oh boy, thanks for joining me again. And like I said, I don't know if it's very fun to watch or not, but this is basically some of what you do when you build an airplane. I tend to do things differently, but there's more than one way to skin a cat or build a Zenith. I'll see you next time.